Welcome back to the Girls Gone Sporty Kitchen. I'm Laura Williams, and today I am whipping up a sausage and zucchini squash soup. Now this was inspired by a recipe I found on Pinterest, and you can see the link to the actual blog it was inspired by in the comments below the YouTube video or over on our article on Girls Gone Sporty that will be the follow-up to this live event. But yes, this is live, and I'm trying to be careful with time, so I've already kind of gotten things started. So this is a soup recipe. It's going to be really easy, but I've got a pot of veggies already up and running. Good stuff going on here. So in this pot that is already cooked up, just to save on time, I have sliced up zucchini squash. There are 4 of them, good-sized zucchini squash, sliced up and popped right in there. There is half of a giant onion, about this size. Now the other half of this onion, or not this onion, but one its size, the other half is in this pan right here cooking up with the sausage. So I've used an entire onion about this size. Then I also decided to take a couple scoops, this is where I diverge from the inspiration article, a couple handfuls of fresh okra that I sliced up and I threw in there as well. So I've already gotten that nice and sauteed up so all the veggies are cooked through. I cooked it through with a couple tablespoons, maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I threw some black pepper and some salt in there as well. So just got it nice and cooked up. Took, it doesn't take that long to saute vegetables, maybe 10 minutes or so to get them nice and cooked through. Now this is on low heat over here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat up because our first thing that we'll be doing is in this pot right here. This is a soup. It's super easy, or I'm assuming it's super easy. It looks super easy. So I'm throwing a can of just standard basic store brand tomato sauce in there. And then I'm throwing a can of my lovely, can't live without them, olive oil and garlic diced tomatoes in here as well. So this is gonna start forming some of the broth. So it's going to be a nice kind of Italian style tomato-based soup that we've got going on. So I'm going to let that stuff start to heat up. Now I will let you know that I will also be adding some chicken broth to this mix in a little bit, but I want to see kind of where we get in terms of thickness. I don't want it to be overly thick, but I want it to have a nice, a good thickness. So we'll be playing with some chicken broth there. Over here in this pan is also where I've diverged a little bit from that original recipe. So I think the original recipe called for ground sausage. I opted for the linked chicken sausage. And this particular chicken sausage I picked up was a nice mango and jalapeno blend. So really flavorful on its own. So what I did was just took actually 8 links of sausage and sliced them up. Again, this is chicken sausage, and I got the kind of natural farm raised, no hormones, yada yada, chicken sausage from more the healthy food area in my store. And then with it, as I mentioned, was the other half of the yellow onion that was diced up and thrown in there. And then I took 4 jalapenos, I de-seeded them and sliced them up and threw them in here as well. I figured if the sausage already had some jalapeno flavor, might as well go with that initial feeling and kind of capitalize on it. So all this is, the sausage was already pre-cooked. So all I'm doing here is getting it nice and hot and then getting the jalapenos and the diced onions in here cooked up with it. Now I did add another couple tablespoons of olive oil to this pan. Haven't added any spices or anything like that because the sausage has great flavor on its own that it's just adding to the veggies that I threw in here with it, the veggies and the peppers. So once this is almost all the way cooked up as well, you can see that those onions are nice and cooked through. The sausage is starting to get just a little bit of a brown edge to it, which is nice. We want it nice and warm for adding it to our soup. So this is just about done. Be a nice chunky soup. Yum. And again, it'll be a little bit of a Italian flavor. So I did pull out some Italian spices as well. So I've got thyme and oregano and basil, and I've got a little bit more salt and some black pepper again if we decide at the end that those are needed or wanted. All right, so I'm gonna stir this up over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull this one over to this burner. And then I'm just going to dump my sausage and pepper and onion mix into this bowl. So this is gonna be a lot of soup, almost stew-like over here that we've got going. So you can see, even though we had the whole can of tomato sauce and the whole can of diced tomatoes, this is so chunky, we're gonna need some more mixed in here. So the soup is more or less made. Now it's just a matter of making sure that we add some more diced tomatoes. And then we're gonna go ahead and add that chicken broth. And we're gonna taste it because obviously I wanna see what this tastes like. This is not a soup I've tried before. Like I said, I was inspired by that Pinterest recipe. I've been wanting soups like crazy lately. It has been so cold even here in Texas. It is March and there was like 5 inches of snow up in the Dallas area. We didn't get snow here, but the door handle outside was frozen this morning. We had a lot of rain. I was actually really surprised we didn't get more ice on the ground or anything. So that was nice that we actually didn't have that. But this is getting more soup-like in consistency. This is right on, man. So again, I added almost all this. I will go ahead and end up adding the rest. Might as well. We'll have a whole freaking pot of soup to go to for days. So nice soup. This again was free-range chicken broth, organic chicken, no hormones, nothing. I think that's really important when we're looking at our chicken, making sure that we're not dealing with any of those extra added hormones. Just saw a headline that McDonald's is going to phase out the hormone chicken, which is a good thing. Now, I don't eat at McDonald's, so it doesn't affect me. But for those of you who do, you know, going forward, you don't have to worry about hormones in their chicken. Now, I wouldn't assume that yet. They said they'll be phasing it out, so I don't know exactly what that means. But it's a good sign, a step in the right direction. No hormones, no antibiotics was the other thing. It's awful to think of us getting additional antibiotics in our food. So important to try to avoid any food sources that have those in there. You gotta be careful with milk. You gotta be careful with chicken particularly, eggs. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little taste. It needs to get hotter before I'm really comfortable with it. Really want to get those ingredients all mixed in together, but I'll give it a try. It's a good start. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of those spices. So I'm going to add, this is thyme that I've got here, and I'm just throwing a little something in there. It's nice because I don't know if I'm a big zucchini fan, but when it's sauteed, it's got a nice sweetness to it. And then the sausage, because of that mango in it, has a nice sweetness. And then I've got oregano and basil, so I'm doing kind of the same thing. So just kind of throwing a dash of each of these in here for a little extra spice. So it's kind of, tomatoes, you know that there's quite a bit of sugar just naturally in tomatoes. All our fruits and veggies have sugar naturally in them. So it's kind of nice in this kind of soup setting where it still is a savory soup, but you get a little bit of a nice sweet flavor in there. And now all we're doing is letting everything get a little hotter, mixed in together. Now, I don't know about you, but I love making soup in huge batches like this. Like this is a giant pot and it is full because I like to have soup left over for days, because soup is one of those things where the flavors really, the longer they sit together, the more they kind of intensify and really meld, and it just starts tasting better and better as the leftovers are available. So in this kind of situation, I figure my fridge can handle a pot this size, so might as well whip it all up, have it available, and enjoy it for a couple days. And just so you guys know, we are basically done here. I'm just letting it get a little bit hotter, see if we have to add any more spice. It had a pretty good flavor, like I said. Might add a little bit of salt, but we're pretty right on. Next Thursday, since these go on every Thursday at 8 p.m., just wanted to let you know that next Thursday we won't actually have one. And that is because I will be on a plane to New York. New York City. It'll be my first time to ever go to New York, so I'm kind of excited about that. But interestingly, I'm being flown out there by Cosmopolitan magazine because I've had skin cancer. And they're doing a spread on women who have had non-melanoma types of skin cancer. So I've had basal cell carcinoma twice. Had one right here and one right over here, and had to do the Mohs surgery and everything. And so I'll be in their magazine probably in like the June issue or something like that, probably around summer when, you know, people start thinking about sunburns and that kind of stuff. But so they're flying me up to do a photo shoot for the spread, which is kind of wild, kind of crazy, but kind of cool too. So if you're in the New York area, I will be up in your area next week. But that is why we won't be having one of these next Sunday. So I figure not Sunday, next Thursday. So I figure that's kind of a good excuse not to have one. We will still have our Sunday live workout as usual. I'm literally up there 24 hours up and back. But so that is that. I think we're good here. So like I said, basil, thyme, oregano, I added a splash of each in there. Otherwise, we're just talking veggies and our tomato sauce, our diced tomatoes, our jalapenos, our sausage link that was sliced up. Couldn't be easier soup because other than sauteing those vegetables, there was no preparation needed. So the sausage was already cooked, just a matter of slicing it all up, throwing it all together, throwing some chicken broth and the tomato sauce and the tomatoes in together, and you are done. You have enough to feed an army. So I'm gonna go enjoy my soup. I hope you enjoy yours too, and we will see you back not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. And as always, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.